Hola clase, ¿cómo están? En esta presentación voy a hablar sobre los verbos reflexivos. So in this presentation we're going to be talking about reflexive verbs in Spanish. Muy bien, vamos a empezar. So reflexive verbs are those verbs where the subject receives the action of the verb. Actions that the subject does to either himself, herself, or itself are all reflexive verbs. So here I have the reflexive pronouns that you need to use when you're using reflexive verbs. And again, they're always in the same order. We have the 3 singular forms on the left and the 3 plural forms on the right. And they correspond to yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, vosotros, ellos, ustedes. So our reflexive pronouns are as follows. We have me, clase repite me, muy bien. Te, muy bien. Se, nos, os, and se. Notice that these 2 reflexive pronouns are the same for both the he, she form and the you formal form, as well as the they form and the you all form. Context of the sentence is going to tell you who's doing the action. Muy bien. So to make a verb reflexive, you just add the se to the end of the infinitive. And that's how you know when you see the verb written out in the infinitive that the verb is indeed reflexive. So for example, levantar, se, is a reflexive verb because we have the pronoun se at the end of the infinitive. Levantar by itself means to lift up. When I make it reflexive, it's an action I do to myself, so now it's to lift oneself up. And this is used when you get up out of bed. So if I want to conjugate this in the yo form, I need that yo reflexive pronoun, like we saw in the previous slide, me, right? And I put the reflexive pronoun before the verb. So yo me levanta would be I get myself up. Notice the reflexive pronoun goes after the subject pronoun. Okay, muy bien. Afeitar. Afeitar by itself means to shave. Afeitarse would be to shave oneself. So again, I'm adding that se to the end of the infinitive to indicate that the verb is indeed reflexive. So if I conjugate afeitarse in the to form, I need my to pronoun, my to reflexive pronoun, which is te. Okay, and again, it goes after the other pronoun, and that would be tú te afeitas. Notice I'm also conjugating the verb in the to form. Tú te afeitas would be you shave yourself. Cepillar. Cepillar by itself means to brush. When I make it reflexive, I add the se to the end, so cepillarse would be to brush oneself, and that can refer to brushing your hair, or it can also be brushing your teeth. So if I conjugate this in the he, she form, again, it's an AR verb, so I'm going to just have the regular AR ending, but I need that reflexive pronoun that goes before the verb, right? So ella se cepilla would be she brushes, and that can be her hair or her teeth. Poner. So poner by itself means to put. When I make this reflexive, though, now I'm changing the meaning to put on oneself, and usually we use this when we're talking about putting clothing on. So if I conjugate this in the él form, in the he form, it would be él se pone, and that would be he puts on. Quitar. So quitar normally means to take away, but when I make it reflexive, now it means to take off oneself. So this is the verb you use when you take off clothing. So if I conjugate this in the usted form, it's going to be the usted ending, okay? And it's going to be usted se quita, and that would be you formal, take off. Subir normally means to go up, but when you make it reflexive, it means to get yourself into or get yourself up into a car or an airplane or any other mode of transportation, a train, for example. If we conjugate this verb in the nosotros form, okay, we have to do the nosotros form of the verb, and we have to put the nosotros reflexive pronoun. So nosotros or nosotras, nos subimos, and that would be we get ourselves up into a car, train, whatever. Okay, mirar by itself means to watch or to look at. When we make it reflexive, though, now it means to look at yourself or to look at oneself. And usually you would look at yourself in a mirror, right? So if I want to conjugate this in the vosotros form, it would be vosotros os miráis. And that would translate to you all look at yourself in the mirror. Or just you all look at yourself. Lavar by itself means to wash. When I make it reflexive, it changes meaning to wash oneself. Okay? So ellos se lavan would be they wash themselves. Estacionar is to park, but this is a reflexive verb because you park yourself, right? So ustedes se estacionan would be you all park yourselves, or you all park. Muy bien, so now let's take a look at some examples of a reflexive verb versus a non-reflexive verb. So it's the same verb use reflexively and then non-reflexively. So for example, yo me baño would be I bathe myself. Okay? Now, if I wanted to use the same example and make it so it's not reflexive, I would say yo baño al perro. So now I'm not doing the action to myself, I'm doing the action to something or somebody else, right? So here in the second example, I don't have the reflexive pronoun because I'm not doing it to myself, I'm doing it to somebody or something else. So yo me baño versus yo baño. Here I have the reflexive pronoun because I'm doing it to myself. Here I don't because I'm doing the action to somebody else or something else. Another example, él se pone una camisa would be he puts on himself a shirt, or he puts a shirt on himself. And if we use that same verb but non-reflexively, now he's putting the shirt somewhere else, right? He's not putting it on himself. In the second example, he's putting the shirt in the drawer. So notice there is no reflexive pronoun in él pone una camisa en el cajón, okay? Because it's not reflexive. He's just putting it in the drawer. Ok, muy bien. Eso es todo. Muchas gracias, clase. Esos son los verbos reflexivos en español y hasta la próxima.